Hey, on my Travel Wins podcast, I'm looking at Corinne Quiggle. Corinne is a pro beach volleyball player who has quite a great background of playing over in Florida, I guess on the East Coast, and then coming over to play for Pepperdine. Quite a storied career at Pepperdine, being an All-American, All-Academic, which I appreciate as a parent. And
Thank you.
Exactly. And then playing professionally, and for being quite a young person in my book, you're younger than both my daughters, so you've played in Cambodia, Mexico, Malaysia, China, Dominican Republic, Cuba, all over the States. How are you today, Corinne?
I'm good. Yeah, pretty good. Staying inside, trying to keep my distance.
Yep.
How have you been?
Same, unfortunately. As an outside sales rep, my day job means I have to go out and sell. My territory is California and Hawaii.
Wow, and so that's not a bad territory, though.
it doesn't suck. But if I'm not traveling, I'm not making money. And since I can't travel and all my stores are closed.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of similar for us beach volleyball players, too.
Yeah, that's had a couple of beach volleyball players on it, and we lead a very similar life. So we have to travel, and if you don't place and make money when you get there, you don't make any money.
Yeah, it's true. And sometimes you even travel for the opportunity to make no money at all when you're going to qualifiers out in Malaysia or wherever it is.
But you've done quite well, and last year being your best year so far, I'm sure you're looking forward to 2020 and when it finally gets started.
Yes, I am looking forward to this season. Yeah, and last year was like my first true professional season, I'd say. I graduated, so I still had to, I had my full season, starting in, was it March or May or, no, I guess it was, February was my first tournament last year. And so that's what I consider my first full season, after I finished college.
How difficult was it? How does it work if you're in college and you're supposed to be an amateur athlete? I know you were making some money.
Yeah, so as a collegiate athlete, you have to keep your expenses. So any money that you make, you can take as long as your expenses are exceeding of what you take. So if I traveled or if I did any of that, that includes gas, that includes
food,
planes, everything. So you can definitely expense the travel, but also you get to expense bathing suits, GoPros, all that kind of stuff. So those are all needed equipment for beach volleyball. So you're able to accept money as a collegiate athlete, but it has to just be written off somewhere else.
I did not know that.
I mean, it's a nice loop around to get a lot of new bathing suits. That's something that I missed. That's for sure.
But now you have
it was money that I had to spend. So I enjoyed that time for sure. But but now I'm trying to save up any kind of money that I make on the tour. And
well, that's just it. I mean, I don't know that a lot of people, we can watch you on Amazon and go down to the beaches and see you guys play. And we're like, wow, I mean, the best athletes in the world, you can be 3 feet away from them. It's a different kind of sport and watch for free.
Yeah, it's really cool. The athletes are super accessible in beach volleyball. And I think it makes for a cool, even viewership or connection with the sport. Because even when I was younger, the professional volleyball players, even international people I know, Adrian Carambola would be out on the beach teaching us all how to sky ball, and we'd just be playing co-ed fours or whatever, and it was super cool. Even being a younger athlete, still striving to be professional. That time I was maybe a sophomore in college, but those experiences, being able to just be so close to all these top athletes is a really cool aspect of the sport.
I totally agree, and you got to get that sky ball ready for Seattle, right?
I know. My sky ball could use some work, but I whip it out in the sixth man, though, that's for sure.
There you go. When you were in high school, because I know you started, middle school, playing volleyball?
Yeah, so I started playing volleyball in middle school indoor only, and I played, because I lived on the beach in Florida, I would play beach volleyball, but I wouldn't say that I actually learned how to play beach volleyball correctly until I was pretty much a sophomore in high school. Now, I was always fooling around with the ball on the beach, always loved the ball control, and I loved the idea of beach volleyball, seeing how much control you had over the game. So it always was like something that I wanted to do. And then after I got to my sophomore year and kind of did a USA program, and then the next year after that, my junior year, I made like the top USA program, and they trained in California. And I actually only had like one more class to graduate in high school. So I just did it online and left my junior year from Florida and moved out to California. So it was really cool. And that whole time that I got to spend like training almost every single day, like totally changed my game. Yeah. So it was like a quick learning curve for me. But yeah, a lot of things happened really fast on the beach. And then that's when I committed to Pepperdine, and the whole thing, I intended to go back to Florida, but I ended up just staying till now, from my junior year in high school until now.
I suppose you could, further your career as a pro beach volleyball player in Florida. But I mean, yeah, obviously Hermosa, Manhattan, kind of the home of beach volleyball.
Yeah, so the beach volleyball scene in Florida is actually super strong. Even now, I lived up in northern Florida, where still, I'd say beginning, there's not as many players. A lot of them either in Fort Lauderdale or Tampa. But my ultimate goal was to kind of play internationally. I want to, like, the Olympics are what I'm striving for. And so
I gotcha.
The whole USA program is in California. Yeah. And so that's where I felt like where I needed to be if those were my goals.
When you were in high school and college, and when you started getting at a beach, is the travel part of the allure of playing beach volleyball?
Absolutely. I love traveling. It's one of my favorite parts of beach volleyball. And I mean, even if you hit some bumpy roads, like I don't think I've ever been to China and not had a bus breakdown. But like really, I tried counting, and I've been to China quite a few times, and every single time a bus that I've been on has broken down for a certain amount of hours. And like even that stuff, I love it. And so, yeah, I mean, that too is like the international side of the sport is totally what lures me in.
Like I said, I mean, that's going to Cuba, the Dominican Republic, and Malaysia, and Cambodia, and China. That's just incredible, especially, at what, 22, 23 years old. That's got to be.
I know, and those are experiences. Yeah, those are experiences that I would, probably not have if it weren't for volleyball. And I mean, each one of those areas has a huge different experience where like a story to itself. So I just, that's definitely my favorite part. I'd say of volleyball in general, besides the playing and besides the competition, the traveling and the meeting other people and the connection between all these countries is so amazing.
Well, and I know you guys are on a tight schedule when you get over there, but do you time to go see museums or local scenery and tour stuff when you're there?
Yeah, I definitely try to. Like, I'll try to put maybe a day ahead. I'll get in a day ahead where I can get onto the time schedule, where I can go see a little bit of the area. That also helps when I'm like scouting for food, kind of.
Exactly.
Some of these places, you don't know what you're gonna have for food. So I do definitely travel with a lot of food too, but getting there a day or two early before I actually start competing, I can kind of get a lay of the land and get to see part of the city or wherever I am in the place, and then also like prepare for the tournament. And then sometimes even if I have the time, I'll try to stay a day after, or if we get out of the tournament or whatever happens, I definitely try to go see it. I mean, I ended up going camel riding in China one time because we finished the tournament a little earlier than we were expecting, but then we had a whole day that we didn't account for. And we went out to the desert in China, which I didn't even know they had a desert and it was one of the coolest experiences. And we got to ride these like amazing camels through
it was totally random,
the
right?
desert.
Not planned?
Yeah, totally random. No, definitely not planned.
That's awesome. I mean, right? What'd you do this week? I rode a camel in China. Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I still have that picture on my desk.
Heck yeah.
Of like me on the camel in China, and it like reminds me. It just makes me so excited to travel more places.
Well, that's what I was kind of similar with my job. Is I travel all around the United States, and I would always try and make my schedule really tight. You know, like, okay, I'm going to land here, I'm going to work here, go to dinner here, and then fly home. And then I'd get home and people would say, oh, did you go see that? I'm like, no. So now I always book at least a half a day, either at the front end or back end, so I can travel around and look around. And I've seen the coolest things doing that. Very similar.
For sure.
When you're traveling, like you mentioned, I was going to ask you about the food part, because I'm always curious about, you know, professional athletes that you're obviously trying to be careful with what you put in your body, and all of a sudden you end up in Cuba or, you know, Malaysia.
Oh, yeah.
So
Malaysia is actually good. It was, well, I don't always successfully do that. I had to come home early from a trip in India, actually. I was in India supposed to play, and I got totally belly sick. Couldn't, like, there are no available hospitals. It was a disaster, but like some of the sick, it was the sickest I've ever been, I think. But definitely just what I try to do is bring enough food so that if there isn't food around, I'll still be able to last on my like snacks. So I bring like definitely a lot of nuts, a lot of protein powder, a lot of supplements that kind of make it easy for me, like vitamins and stuff. And just kind of prepare in that way. Some oatmeal for breakfast, because if I can at least supplement with a little bit of the local food to what I have, then I can usually get around eating most of my food and staying safe. Now, what I did in India was I went to a Subway, and it didn't turn out well for me because I forgot that they washed the lettuce in water.
Yeah.
And I totally got all these veggies, and I was just figured it was Subway and I would treat myself, and then nope, I was didn't see much of India. That's all I'll say. But yeah, so I definitely try to be good about it, and then sometimes we find these amazing spots where the water's good, I feel super comfortable eating the meat. I feel like, you know, that this is like a higher quality, or at least what my body can take, you know. So definitely I try to find those gems, but I try to bring as much just in case I can't find anything at all.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to ask, because I don't go to any place that remote, but it's the same. You know, there's certain things I want to make sure I eat, and I have to bring them sometimes. That's good.
Yeah, so definitely nuts are super easy to bring, and the protein powder. Those are like staples.
You learned the hard way.
For sure. Yes, unfortunately I did. I for sure did.
You won't forget it now.
No. But you know what? Maybe my stomach's building a little like immunity to it now. So no, I'm just kidding. I'll still bring my stuff.
It'll always be that one time. You'll be like, oh.
Yeah.
Are there any staples that you have to travel with? A pillow, your earbuds, sleeping mask, anything to help you?
Definitely headphones.
Okay.
Headphones. I have to travel with headphones. I love music and listening to music, and that can like entertain me for however long. I mean, it could be like 12-hour flight, and I could just listen to music. So yeah, definitely my headphones, maybe a journal. Like blanket wise and stuff, I'm usually pretty good. I can sleep. I'm a very good sleeper, so I could sleep on a lot of planes. So that's a lucky thing about me.
Yeah, that helps.
That probably makes travel a lot easier. But no, I'm pretty like able to sleep in airports, able to sleep on planes. So none of those stuff, but definitely the headphones for entertainment. That's like huge. I watch a lot of movies, and so the headphones too come in handy.
You know, with all the traveling you're doing, how has it been so far maintaining your friends and family and relationships that you try and keep at home?
Yeah, so I would say I love traveling, and the one thing that like holds me back, or doesn't necessarily hold me back, but the one thing that I do is I miss like the people at home.
Yeah. So
I don't necessarily miss like the place or whatever, but I'll miss people that are close to me, like my friends, my family. And so definitely with that, I just try to stay connected. A lot of times we are in different time zones, or on different schedules, and I just try to talk to them as much as I can. And as long as I'm keeping busy in those areas, I'm usually okay. But definitely trying to, I FaceTime all the time, and luckily I have like a good cell service that I can almost text and stay in contact with people wherever I am.
Do you foresee? I'm trying to think of some. I guess there are. I guess it's. Do you think it's going to be easier that you have this travel lifestyle, and whoever you meet as far as a partner is going to be like, okay, well, that's just the way she is, and that's the way I have to accept her?
Yeah. Well, luckily, I have a boyfriend right now, and he is Austrian, so he's foreign, and I mean, he lives in Innsbruck, so I mean, he's like, his family is 25 minutes from the Italian border. They're an hour away from Germany. They're 2 hours away from Switzerland. Like he's traveled a lot in his life.
Sure.
And so he like totally understands like my love and need for travel. And I think that's really awesome. And then even if I go to Austria or wherever I am, like I have people over there, and it's really cool. Like his family's super welcoming. I actually went to Austria, before we were really even dating. Maybe we had been dating a month, and I stayed with his whole family.
Oh, that's nice.
So I met his family without him. Well, we had been dating for like almost a month or so. Quite exciting. In Austria, I was in Austria with one of my best friends, Delaney Knudsen, who also plays. We were just there traveling, and it was just kind of a funky trip where we just stayed with people that we knew all over Europe, which is one of the coolest things about this sport, is that you meet so many people, and that we had a house to stay in every place we went.
Yeah.
Which was like Paris, Czech Republic, Innsbruck, Austria, and then we went back to Paris. And yeah, so it was super cool that we had that kind of connection, and that like the volleyball world is so small. So being able to like stay and be housed by people and actually really see those areas, it was really cool. That's
got to be exciting though. And
mm-hmm.
I mean, you have friends around the world now. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That's one of the coolest things. For sure.
What's your your favorite place to visit, and what's your least favorite place you've visited so far? For whatever reason. It could be broken down buses. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah, no. So actually one of my favorite places, was actually Malaysia, which is super funny, but I just had one of the coolest experiences there, where we stayed with this lady that my dad speaks for a living. And he was speaking in Malaysia and had met this family. And he was like, my daughter's going to be out here in 2 weeks. And she was like, oh, they have to stay with us. And so when we went to Malaysia, we played in like a town 2 hours away from KL, which is where she lived. And then after we finished playing, we went and stayed at her house, which was unbelievable. It was a penthouse suite right with the view of like the Petronas Towers. It was the coolest thing I've ever done. And then we just went and saw all these amazing places, like a speakeasy in Malaysia. It was actually like right by both my partner and I's birthdays. So we celebrated both of our birthdays out there in these high class like restaurants and bars. And it was a really cool town. And so, yeah, and then we went into this elephant sanctuary. So Malaysia like blew my expectations out of the water.
Gotcha.
And even though I've been to like a lot of amazing places, I could name all of them. But yeah, I think I didn't go into Malaysia with a ton of expectations, and then all of a sudden it was like one of the coolest experiences I've ever had. So that's probably my favorite. And my least favorite?
For what it could be India, because you don't remember any of it.
Yeah. You know what? I'll say India because I had a little bad experience. I mean, the people were super nice.
Yeah.
And everyone was trying to take really great care of me, but, you know, it just didn't work out on my end.
Hopefully you won't have that problem in the future. What
Yeah,
places?
I think I've.
Go ahead.
I hope I've learned my lessons.
What places do you want to travel to that you haven't yet? You can say Tokyo, Japan for the Olympics, but whatever.
Oh yes, Tokyo, Japan for sure would be one. I mean, for volleyball, I'd really love to go to more of the European stuff.
Okay.
I've heard like Gstaad is amazing. I've heard it's one of the coolest venues in the mountains. So I'd say Gstaad in Vienna for volleyball purposes.
What about snow volleyball?
Oh, I would love to do snow volleyball. Last year, I thought about it for a little bit, but it kind of overlapped with some of the international beach travel, so I didn't do it. But I'm definitely looking into that in the future. I think they go some really cool places, and it would be really fun to try out.
It looks like it's a blast, but just freezing.
Yeah, and I don't fare too well in the cold, but I think I would heat up playing volleyball, and it just looks like one of a really fun sport for sure. New winter sport.
Well, I think it was Casey Patterson that told me, or maybe it was Madison. They were telling me that they're trying to make it a Winter Olympics the next time it goes back to Italy. They're trying to make it a Winter Olympics sport. Yeah,
so I've heard that. That would be really, really cool. I'd for sure try to get in on that.
Could you imagine? You're an Olympic athlete. What sport do you play? Snow volleyball. What?
Snow volleyball. That'd be so awesome.
That'd be pretty awesome. So you never know. Are you trying to make it to the?
Yeah.
Has the USA team been made for the Beach Olympics already, or how does that work?
No, it hasn't. It was supposed to be done around June or June. I think it was June is the cutoff date, but now that the Olympics have been postponed, it kind of opens the door for more people. Although this year, I kind of went into last year with no international points, or very, very little international points. Just from like Norseca's and one FIVB that I did before. And so I didn't have a leg up, and then it became Olympic qualifying, and automatically everybody signed up. So everybody that had more points, they basically only take 16 to the country quota. Like 16 total, sorry, only 3 play in the country quota and 3 are in. And so basically we didn't have the opportunity to play in those country quotas and earn points.
Oh, cool.
So it was just a hard time to try to jump in it, although we were really close. A lot of times we sat in that 7th position for like the whole year. But this year I'm definitely hoping to break in, and I think we've had a strong start of this season. I know we're kind of back to off season now, but
exactly.
I really think that if we can break into those tournaments, then we would be able to have a shot.
I don't mean to, give you the good mojo just yet, but every pro beach volleyball player I've had on my show, which is 3, have all had record years the year after they talked to me.
Oh, wow. I like that.
I'm just saying, Carissa won.
Yeah. Carissa had a great year last year.
Yeah. And then Madison had his brother Riley had their best year. And then Casey won, I think, Hermosa? Hermosa.
Well, that's great. Thank you for having me on your show. That's for sure.
Just throwing it out there. I don't know if I had anything to do with it.
No, like I had anything. That's funny.
Are you planning on playing with Amanda again, or how's that working out?
No, so right now I'm playing with Fallon, Moana.
Oh, okay.
And we played in the last 2 Norseca's together at the end of last year, one in Dominican and one in Jamaica. And we won both of those. And then I think it was 2 weekends ago, we played in the AVP Cincinnati AVP Next tournament, and we won that. So we have an automatic berth into the AVP New York. So and we kind of played in that just in case, because I think we might be somewhat on the barrier, and AVP New York is a smaller tournament, and it's a huge tournament for points. So we thought we would try to solidify our spot, and we did. So that was like a huge win for us. and yeah, we're super excited for the season. I mean, so far we've played in 3 tournaments and they've all gone our way. So
Yeah.
we're really hoping that that continues.
Well, Fallon's going to be great just hitting and blocking. And so you just got to run around the backside, right?
Exactly. Yeah. She's definitely a powerful, she's a super powerful and super talented player. So
yeah.
I'm really looking forward to this year.
That's a good team. So what's the best way for people to follow you? And I know you have some, let me ask you this question real quick. How does it work with sponsorships? Because not too many volleyball players make a ton of money.
Yeah, so with the prize money in beach volleyball, you kind of almost need the sponsors, but sponsors are a huge help to help us even get to tournaments, because a lot of that comes out of pocket, and so sponsors. I mean, reaching out to sponsors, I think that's like one of the biggest things for beach volleyball players is like kind of growing the sponsorship, and that even grows beach volleyball in itself. I just got an awesome new CBD sponsor, Soul CBD, and they've been super helpful, and they've been even growing me and the sport of beach volleyball on the outside of like the athletic / influencer kind of world. They have connections with other like sports brands and stuff that they've been partnering with, and it's a really good way to grow the sport and grow each other. So like sponsorship, usually we just reach out, create a connection, and if it's something that I mutually use, I'm like very specific over the sponsorships that I like, because I have a lot easier time promoting companies that like definitely align with myself.
Yeah.
And so that's something that I for sure look at when I'm looking at sponsors. But yeah, just trying to grow the sport and be able to do this as a full-time job.
Well, and you're also doing private coaching and some other things, so you do what you got to do, right?
Yeah. This past year I was actually the director of ops for UCLA Beach Volleyball.
Well, that's pretty cool.
So that helped. Although our season, the season got cut a little short with the coronavirus, but it was definitely nice. I mean, staying involved and learning about the administrative side of NCAA and beach volleyball, and that definitely grows my knowledge of the sport. And I even get to watch like the upcoming players. So it's really cool. It's a really cool opportunity that I have.
I think that's awesome that you're looking at that. I mean, that does give you a total different perspective of even. You were just playing a year and a half ago in college, so seeing the other side of it's kind of different.
Oh, for sure, a lot different. But it definitely it helps my knowledge on and off the court, and I definitely get like a way bigger picture of even how I, as a professional, can create my like team around me, because I see what they use for training and what they're using for this and how they're planning out their schedules and yada yada yada, and it definitely transfers over.
Do you think do you follow other players in the sense of you want to see what they're doing in the off season? Because I know now I follow a lot of different players, and it's interesting to see some people are heavier in the gym, some people are doing more beach workout. Do you follow that to see what other people are doing as well?
I follow people, but I don't necessarily. I try not to like compare myself to people, because I found a pretty good system of what kind of works for me and what works best with my body. And so sometimes I'll see somebody doing this really cool exercise. I'm like, okay, that looks really fun and that looks like it's going to help me. So I'll add that in, but I definitely don't try to compare myself like, oh, they've been doing this and this and this, and maybe I'm not. But I think too, like I don't always show my own workouts, and everybody's working kind of in themselves, and then I think that will show maybe on the court or maybe later on, and instead of, I don't know.
Like I said, I just wonder, because if you watch, XYZ player and they're working out constantly, you're like, when you end up playing them, mentally, are you going, well, I know they're in good shape, or I know they're not good? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely try to play that by ear, but I know that sometimes what people show isn't always
what it is.
What's happening, And I mean, that even happened when I tore my meniscus years ago. And I was kind of like, oh yeah, I'm all good, like trying to show all this stuff, but really I was a little bit injured. And so I don't know, I definitely try to keep it on what's happening at the moment, rather than like what I've seen.
Okay.
Kind of.
Gotcha. Well, thank you so much for the time. I don't want to eat up too much more time, but what's the best way for my listeners to follow you and stay and see what's going on with you?
Yeah, I mean, Instagram is good. It's just my name, Corinne Quiggle. Instagram is what I mainly use through that. And then definitely coming out to the tournaments, the AVP tournaments, maybe following along on the FIVB schedule. I think those are the best ways.
And you have your website as well, right?
Yes, I do have my website. That's CorinneQuiggle.com.
Yeah, so any sponsors that want to be part of the Team Quiggle, you can just go to the website and check it out.
Yes, for sure.
And I'm excited to see about the Olympics. Yeah,
I'm excited too. It being pushed back. I mean, definitely I'm looking very long term. Even like 2024, 2028. Like I'm in beach volleyball for the long run. So
2028 in Los Angeles would be awesome.
I know, right in our backyard.
Do you think they'll have it?
Yeah.
Do you think they'll have the Olympics in Manhattan, or will they have a beach volleyball set up somewhere else?
I don't remember if they've said anything about that, but I would hope that they do it in Manhattan or Hermosa. That would be very iconic. It would be so cool.
Oh my God, I'd just ride my bike down and watch. That'd be unbelievable.
Watch the Olympics? How cool would be that? Would be awesome.
Well, yeah. I remember in '84, I was in high school, and when the Olympics were last year in Los Angeles, and I went to the wrestling and some of the swimming stuff and the diving. And my sister,
that is so cool! Yeah,
it's unbelievable. So
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to. I mean, the Olympics being in LA, definitely in the sport continuing to grow, and beach volleyball is a big Olympic sport, so that's going to drive a huge, ton of attention, especially in the U.S. So I'm really, really looking forward to that one.
Well, hopefully you be a 3-time Olympian. You go to Japan, the next one, and then LA. And
that would be pretty cool.
And with a gold medal, and just drop the mic. That'd be it.
That'd be awesome.
I appreciate it.
How about that?
And I'll definitely.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'll definitely keep an eye out for you at Hermosa in Manhattan. They haven't canceled those, right? At least not yet.
No, they haven't. Those are still on as of now. We will, and I hope they stay on. That's my goal. That's my putting that out into the universe. I hope they stay on. I really hope that this all passes with plenty of time, and that people keep their distance for now. And we can still play volleyball in the summer.
Exactly. It's weird to say that because it's it's March, and you're like,
I know,
playing in June, July, and August. So wait and see.
Yeah, definitely.
So thank you again for your time. Good luck in the kind of off season.
All right, thank you. Yeah, kind of off season, kind of preseason again.
Exactly.
But yeah, thank you so much for your time, and thanks for this.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Corinne.
All right. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.